Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our Solomon Scott Selections here for Saturday, August 21st. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what it is. We didn't pick up a loss with the Cardinals team total over 4.5 runs at minus 120 on BetMGM. And that unfortunately snapped our winning streak because the Cardinals scored no runs against Mitch Keller before scoring no runs against Pittsburgh's bullpen as they lost 4-0. So a pretty upsetting way to snap the winning streak. But on the bright side, we did pick up a winner in the joint video with Scott Steen on the radio show with the Bet the Farm play. If you were not aware of that, by the way, on the joint show, we give out our favorite play on the card together. So keep that in mind if you want an extra play. That's also free. And we give out the Chiefs -3 against the Cardinals, and they ended up winning by 7. So the football ended up working out. Unfortunately, the baseball did not, but we'll look for a winner here on Saturday. We're going to be talking about football as hopefully that success carries over because we did win the last 2 Bet the Farm plays on preseason. And it's going to be on a late night matchup between the Raiders and the Rams taking place at around 10 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be doing something that I'm sure nobody has ever attempted before. And we might be, breaking some uncharted territory here. But either way, it's going to be a teaser. That's right. I'm teasing preseason football. You can roast me in the comment section below, but I think there's value on it. I'm going to give it out. So looking at the actual lines itself, the Raiders are currently favored by 6.5, and the total is a flat 35. But if you take a 6.5-point teaser available on Bet Online, you can turn it into Raiders Pick'em and under 41.5, and those 2 picks pay out at -120 on Bet Online at time recording of 1:10 a.m. Eastern time. So a couple reasons why I like the Raiders and the under in this spot. I'm going to start off with the Raiders Pick'em. First of all, you might be wondering why in a preseason game the Raiders are tied for the biggest favorites on the board at -6.5. The main reason is because of the fact that some coaches care about the preseason and other coaches do not. Gruden cares a lot, and McVay could not care less. Now, looking at the actual numbers here, since Gruden returned to the Raiders in 2018, Gruden is 8-1 ATS in the preseason, and he has covered in 7 straight games. Plus, the Raiders have won 6 of the last 7 preseason games outright. Meanwhile, Sean McVay is known for benching all of the starters pretty much all of the time in the preseason, and that's going to be the case once again in this spot because the Rams have already announced that none of the starters are going to play besides maybe the kicker and the punter. And you also might have some backups that also will not be playing in the spot. So the Rams are really taking it to another level when it comes to benching everybody because they're also benching some second stringers, which is a little bit crazy. And that means that you should see pretty ugly quarterback play by the likes of Duck Hodges and Bryce Perkins, which is what happened in the first preseason game, which they lost to the Chargers by a score of 13-6. Now, looking at the Raiders, first game, they took care of business against Seattle, and they looked really good on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they were great. Offensively, Peterman actually looked pretty good. I know Nathan Peterman might scare some people because of that horror show he had with Buffalo, but in the preseason, he's actually pretty good, and he got to play the entire game last week, so I do think he'll look pretty sharp in this one for the second half. But there is a bit of, I'd say, positive news going on with the Raiders, which is the fact that Marcus Mariota might also be playing in this game. Now, Carr's not going to play. I don't think that surprises anybody, but Mariota missed the first preseason game because he was suffering a leg injury, and he actually was able to practice in a couple of days leading up to this game. So there is a chance that Mariota might play a series or 2, but I do expect to see a lot of Peterman, which is really not a bad sign because he has been, I'd say, pretty experienced in the preseason over the last couple of years, and he has fared pretty well. But at the end of the day, it's fading McVay in the preseason. He usually, I'd say, just does a bunch of handoffs and a lot of uncreative play calling because he likes to save all his tricks the regular season. And I think you'll see the Rams once again score less than 10 points in this game, as the Raiders should win this game rather handily. But I do think Raiders' money line for the first pick of this teaser is definitely a good way to go about it. And that's going to transition us to the actual total in this one. Now, you might be wondering why I like the under 41.5, and the reason's obvious because of the fact that it's the preseason, and the unders so far in the preseason are hitting, I'd say, about 90%. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. You had another 2 preseason games yesterday, and shocker, both of them went under because it seems like every preseason game has gone under, and I think you'll see that take place once again in this one. Now, the Raiders offensively looked really good in the first game against Seattle. That's also because Seattle's offense looked awful, and the Raiders dominate time possession, but they only scored 20 points. So the offense, despite dominating in every single facet, only scored 20, and I think they'll probably finish with a similar number in this spot. Meanwhile, the Rams, after scoring 6 points in the preseason opener against the Chargers, I think will struggle once again. In addition to having poor quarterback play from Hodges and from Perkins, The Rams also have a bit of a running back controversy on the depth chart, kind of some people fighting for roster spots. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if the Rams go with even more running plays to try to decipher who should be either the second string or the third stringer on the depth chart. And I do think that should result in a ton of running clock, a ton of really, really boring handoffs up the middle, but most importantly, a ton of, I'd say, lackluster drives, because if you're going to be setting yourselves up in third and long all the time and you're not exactly going to be expanding the playbook, I think you'll see a lot of punts, and I do think you'll see the Raiders kind of try to follow the same idea because of the fact that both these teams, even though the Raiders want to win, the Rams are going to be so focused on getting out of there without facing many injuries. I think you'll end up seeing a rather quick game in which the clock ends up going down relatively quickly, but at the end of the day, 41.5 is a really generous total when you're buying the 6.5 points. And I think that there's no chance you're going to see this game get into the 40s if the Rams score, I'd say, less than 10 points, which is what I think they're going to do. If I had to predict the score, I would say the Raiders are probably going to win this game 24-10 or so. But at the end of the day, I do think there's value on the Raiders to win, and I think there's value on the under, which is why, once again, the play of the day here for Saturday is going to be on the 6.5 point teaser on Bet Online with the Raiders pick'em and the under 41.5, and that pays out once again at -120 on Bet Online. Other than that, that has been this installment of Scott's Selections. Bye, everybody.